To keep yourself updated, subscribe to Indigolearn and click the bell icon and download our app OneFin to start learning on the go.
Let's now have a look at the concept of small limited liability partnership. So just like in case of a company, we have the concept of small company. Similarly, in case of LLP, there is something called as small limited liability partnership or small LLP. Now, what is a small LLP? The term small LLP is defined in section 2 clause TA of the LLP Act 2008, and it says that a small LLP is an LLP where, now there are two limits which have been prescribed. What are these two limits? The first limit is with respect to the contribution. Now, what does contribution mean in case of LLP? Contribution is nothing but the partner's capital, the contribution which is made by the partners in the LLP. So, the contribution of which does not exceed rupees 25 lakhs. So, what is the first limit which we are going to look at? The first limit is of the contribution, or in simple terms, the partner's capital. It should not exceed rupees 25 lakhs. Now, what is the second limit? Second limit here is with respect to the turnover. Now, turnover of an LLP as per the statement of accounts and solvency of the immediately preceding financial year should not exceed rupees 40 lakhs. So, if both these conditions are satisfied with respect to the contribution and with respect to the turnover, we say that LLP is a small LLP or it is a small limited liability partnership. So, which type of LLP will be referred to as a small LLP? An LLP where the contribution does not exceed rupees 25 lakhs and where the turnover as per the statement of accounts and solvency of the immediately preceding financial year does not exceed rupees 40 lakhs. Such LLP will be referred to as small limited liability partnership. And in addition to both these conditions, they should also comply with the specific terms and conditions which are laid down or which have been prescribed. So, which LLP will be referred to as a small LLP? An LLP whose contribution is not exceeding 25 lakhs and whose turnover of the immediately preceding financial year does not exceed 40 lakh rupees. Such an LLP will be referred to as a small limited liability partnership. So, these amounts of 25 lakhs with respect to contribution and 40 lakhs with respect to the turnover may be increased by the government if they want to do so, and these amounts may be increased with respect to contribution from 25 lakhs to an higher amount of up to 5 crore rupees, and with respect to turnover from 40 lakhs to an amount of not exceeding 50 crore rupees. So, the higher amounts which have been specified are 5 crores and 50 crores. So, the existing limit is 25 lakhs for contribution and 40 lakhs for the turnover, but these amounts may be increased in future with respect to contribution up to rupees 5 crores and with respect to the turnover up to rupees 50 crores. So, that type of LLP will be referred to as a small LLP. Let's understand this with help of an example. Now, say that there is an LLP, star LLP. Now, star LLP's contribution is rupees 10 lakhs and its turnover in the immediately preceding financial year is 30 lakhs. Is star LLP a small limited liability partnership? Let's understand. Now, the contribution here is 10 lakhs. It is less than 25 lakhs, it is not exceeding 25 lakhs, which means the first condition is satisfied. Now, talking about the second condition, turnover of star LLP in the immediately preceding financial year is 30 lakh rupees, which is well within the limit of 40 lakh which has been prescribed. So, which means both the conditions are satisfied, which means star LLP is a small LLP. But what if turnover was 41 lakhs instead of 30 lakhs? In that situation, would we call star LLP a small LLP? The answer is definitely not. Why is that so? Because both the conditions should be cumulatively satisfied and only then we can call a limited liability partnership a small limited liability partnership. So, what is a small LLP? A small LLP is a LLP where the contribution does not exceed rupees 25 lakhs and the turnover of the immediately preceding financial year does not exceed rupees 40 lakhs. And in addition to both these conditions, any other terms and conditions which have been prescribed, any rules which have been made, shall be complied with by the LLP to term it as a small limited liability partnership. Let's now understand section 34A, which talks about accounting and auditing standards. Now, what does it say? Now, section 34A basically states that the central government, in consultation with NAFRA, that is National Financial Reporting Authority, which is constituted under section 132 of the Companies Act, it is an authority which has been constituted, it is a separate authority. Now, they will prescribe the standards on accounting standards and the auditing standards which shall be complied with by the limited liability partnerships when they are making their accounts or when audit of these LLP is carried out. So, section 34A basically states that the central government in consultation with NAFRA will prescribe the accounting standards and the standards on auditing which shall be complied with by the limited liability partnership, which shall be applicable to the limited liability partnership. So, that is what section 34A talks of. Let's now start with section 67A, which talks about establishment of special courts. Now, why are these special courts established? The main intention behind establishment of special courts is basically speedy trial of offences, so that the offences are decided upon quickly and a speedy trial of offences happens. So, in certain situations, the central government, they will designate a few courts as special courts and also will specify the jurisdiction of these special courts. Now, when we talk of special courts, what will the special court consist of? So, in a situation where the offence which is being committed under this act, it is punishable with an imprisonment of 3 years or more. So, if an offence has been committed and that offence is punishable with an imprisonment of 3 years or more, then in that situation, the special courts, they shall consist of a single judge who is the judge or who is a sessions judge or an additional sessions judge. Now, what is sessions judge, additional sessions judge? So, for this, let's first understand the hierarchy of the judicial system in India. Now, when we talk of hierarchy of the judicial system, there are two types of offences which happen, civil offences and criminal offences. Now, when we talk of criminal offences, the hierarchy goes in a different manner, and when we talk of civil offences, the hierarchy is a bit different. So, Supreme Court, High Court, they are the supreme ones, but what are the base? What's the base? From where does the thing actually start from? Let's understand. So, when we talk of criminal offences, what is the hierarchy of the judicial system? Let's understand. So, the Supreme is the Supreme Court, then comes the High Court. Now, when we talk of criminal cases, it is at two levels. It is divided into two parts. One is metropolitan cases and the other is district level cases. District level cases. So, when we talk of metropolitan cases, after High Court, there are some courts called as session courts. Now, after session courts, it is chief metropolitan courts, and then there's metropolitan magistrate courts. And when we talk of district level, it is the session after the High Court comes the session courts again. Then there's judicial magistrate court first class, then there's judicial magistrate court second class. So, this is the classification, or this is the hierarchy of how the judicial system has been divided. So, when we talk of establishment of special courts by the central government under section 67A, section 67A states that the central government, for the purposes of speedy trial of offences, they may establish by notification as many special courts as required, and they will also designate what is the jurisdiction of these special courts which have been established. Now, when they are establishing special courts, the special courts, they shall consist of a single judge who is either a sessions judge or an additional sessions judge, where the offence which has happened, it is punishable with an imprisonment of 3 years or more. So, where the offence is punishable with an imprisonment of 3 years or more, the special court shall consist of a single judge who is either a judge of sessions court or the additional sessions judge. for any other offence, the special courts, they shall consist of any metropolitan magistrate or the judicial magistrate of first class. So this is basically about the formation of special court. What shall the special court constitute of? So in a situation where the offence is punishable with an imprisonment of 3 years or more, the special court shall consist of a single judge who is the judge of session court or an additional sessions judge. And in a situation where in case of any other offence, the special court shall consist of metropolitan magistrate or judicial magistrate, and whoever is appointed, they shall be appointed by the central government in concurrence with the Chief Justice of High Court. So the appointment of judges, the appointment of metropolitan magistrates with respect to the special courts will be made by the central government, but yes, in consultation with the Chief Justice of the High Court. Now, in a situation, say there's still time which the central government will take for the purpose of establishment of special courts under section 67A of the LLP Act. Till then, the offences under this act, that is the LLP Act, shall be tried in the special courts which have been formed under the Companies Act 2013. So there's a proviso which states that till the time special courts have been established under the LLP Act, the offences under the LLP Act can be tried in the special courts which have been formed, which have been established under the Companies Act 2013. There's a further proviso to this which says that if an offence has been committed under the LLP Act 2008 and that offence is triable in a special court. So an offence has happened and that offence is triable in a special court, but a special court has not yet been established either under the LLP Act and also under the Companies Act. So in the previous proviso, we have understood that until a special court has been established under the LLP Act, we will refer the special courts which have been established under the Companies Act. We can, the offences under LLP Act can be tried in the special courts which have been established under the Companies Act. But what if it is a situation wherein special courts have not been established both under the LLP Act as well as the Companies Act? Then where will the offence be tried? An offence has happened and that is triable in a special court, but no special court has been established neither under the LLP Act nor under the Companies Act 2013. Then which court shall try these offences? Then in such a situation, Court of Sessions or the Court of Metropolitan Magistrate or Judicial Magistrate of first class, they can try the offences which are triable by special courts depending on their jurisdiction. So wherever these courts have their jurisdiction, depending on the jurisdiction of where the offence has been committed. So what did we understand under section 67A? So section 67A talks about establishment of special courts. Who can establish special court? It is the central government. They may by notification establish and designate certain courts, as many courts as they want to, as special courts, who will and also specify their jurisdiction. Now the special courts, they shall consist of a single judge who is either a sessions judge or an additional sessions judge, where the imprisonment is for a term of 3 years or more, and a metropolitan magistrate or a judicial magistrate in case of any other offence. And this appointment shall be done by the central government in concurrence with the Chief Justice of High Court. However, until special courts have been established under section 67A, special courts which have already been established under the Companies Act 2013 shall be deemed to be special court for the purposes of LLP Act. That is, unless and until till the time special courts have been established, have been notified by the central government under the LLP Act, we can try the offences which are triable in special courts, offences committed under the LLP Act in the special courts which have been formed under the Companies Act. However, if it is a situation where an offence is triable under special court, an offence has happened under LLP Act which is triable in a special court, but a special court under LLP Act as well as the Companies Act has not been established yet, then in such a situation, such an offence will be triable either in the Court of Sessions or Metropolitan Magistrate Court or the Judicial Magistrate Court of first class, depending upon the jurisdiction. So this is what section 67A talks of. So let's now start with section 67B, which talks about the procedure and the powers of the special court. Now we have understood that offences which have been committed under the LLP Act, they are triable in special courts which are established, and special courts will have their own jurisdiction which will be specified by the central government. Now when talking about which special court shall have jurisdiction over a particular offence which is triable in the special court. Now say an offence has been committed by LLP and this LLP's registered office is situated in Hyderabad. Now, can you file a case in a special court which is situated in Bangalore for an offence which has been committed by an LLP whose registered office is situated here in Hyderabad? Answer is no. When we talk of trying of offences in special courts, the offences shall be tried in the special courts which have jurisdiction over the area where the registered office of the limited liability partnership which has committed the offence is situated. So this is one very important point. A special court which has jurisdiction over the area where the registered office of the LLP which has committed the offence is situated is the special court which will have the right to try the offence with respect to that particular LLP. So which special court gets the right to try the offence? The special court which is situated in the area where which has jurisdiction over the area where the registered office of the limited liability partnership is situated is the special court which shall try the offences. Now what if there are more than one special courts which are situated in that particular area? Now, which special court shall be approached? Say there are 3 special courts in Hyderabad. Now, which special court shall take care of this particular offence which has happened? Now, in such a situation, any one of these special courts can try the offence, and it is as per the directions, as per the instructions of the concerned High Court, as specified by the High Court in this particular matter. So, what do we understand from this? Section 67B specifies that the special courts which have jurisdiction over the area where the registered office of the LLP is situated are the special courts who shall try the offences with respect to the offence which has happened. Now, in a situation where there are more than one special courts situated in that area who have jurisdiction over that particular area, then in that situation the High Court will specify which special court shall take care of this particular offence, and that one special court shall try the offence which has been committed. So this is what section 67B subsection 1 talks of. Let's now start with section 67B subsection 2, what it says. Now 67B subsection 2 basically specifies that when a special court is trying an offence with respect to an offence which has been committed under the LLP Act, in such a situation the special court can also try an offence other than the offence which has been committed under the LLP Act. In which situation? Now say for example there is a person, Mr. Rajiv. Mr. Rajiv has been accused of an offence under the LLP Act, and a trial is going on against Mr. Rajiv in the special court. But Mr. Rajiv has also been accused of some other offence under the Code of Criminal Procedure, and in such a situation, and that offence is not an offence under the LLP Act. So basically there is a person, Mr. Rajiv, who has committed 2 offences. One offence under the LLP Act, the other offence is a normal offence under the Code of Criminal Procedure, which is not related to LLP Act, which is not an offence under the LLP Act at all. In such a situation, a trial is going on in a special court with respect to the offence which has been committed under the LLP Act with respect to Mr. Rajiv. Now, in such a situation, this special court which is trying an offence which has been committed under the LLP Act against Mr. Rajiv can also take care of the offence of the other offence which has been committed by Mr. Rajiv, which is an offence other than the offence under LLP Act, and in the same trial Mr. Rajiv will be charged upon with both the offences. So basically, section 67B subsection 2 basically specifies that the special courts, they may also take into account any offence which is committed by the accused other than the offence under the LLP Act, and the accused may be charged with both the offences under the same trial. So basically same trial will go on, and in the same trial both the offences, the accused will be punished for both the offences which he has committed. So one is the offence under the LLP Act which he has committed, and the other is an offence other than what has been stated in the LLP Act. Let's now start with subsection 3. Now what does it say? Subsection 3 basically states that in certain situations, the special court, if they think fit, they can examine the trial in a summary way. Now what is a summary trial? Summary trials are basically done for some minor offences, wherein the offence is not very major, it is minor in nature, and the trial is done in brief. Basically the main focus here in case of summary trial is recording evidences and recording statements of witnesses and other things. So basically it is a more speedier way of finishing a trial where the offence is minor in nature. So in certain situations, the special courts, they may decide to do a trial in a summary manner. Now they can do so when the offence which has been committed is not punishable with an imprisonment exceeding 3 years. So wherein the term of imprisonment is less than 3 years, in such a situation the special courts may decide to complete the trial in a summary way. Now say special courts have decided to complete a trial in a summary way, and a person has been convicted of an offence during that summary trial. Now, in a situation where a person has been convicted in a summary trial, he cannot be punishable with an imprisonment for a term exceeding 1 year. So what did we understand here? In the first instance, we've understood that special courts, they may decide, if they think fit that summary trial is okay for this particular offence, they may decide to carry summary trial, but for an offence which is not punishable with an imprisonment exceeding 3 years. Basically, term of imprisonment for that offence is less than 3 years, then summary trial can be done. Now say summary trial is going on and a person has been convicted of the offence. Now times come for his punishment. Now in a summary trial where the offence has been decided upon in a summary trial and the person has been convicted, in such a situation he cannot be punished with an imprisonment of a time span exceeding 1 year. So summary trial can be conducted where the offence consists of imprisonment of less than 3 years. But when a person is convicted in a summary trial, he cannot be punished with an imprisonment of a time span exceeding 1 year. So this is something which has to be complied with. But say summary trial is going on, the special courts, they have decided to try an offence in a summary manner. Summary trial is going on, and during the course of summary trial, the courts, they think that the imprisonment of 1 year would not be a sufficient punishment for this trial, or trying this offence in a summary manner does not seem right in certain situations. Then in that case, the courts, they may decide to shift this offence from summary trial to a regular trial as well. So it is not necessary that if once the special courts have decided that we will try a particular offence in a summary way, they have to comply with that. If during the course of the trial or after they have decided to try an offence in a summary manner, if the special courts, they are of the opinion that the punishment would exceed 1 year or a punishment of less than 1 year would not be sufficient for the offence, or the courts, they think that trying this offence in a summary way will not do justice to the parties to the offence, in such a situations, the courts, they may call upon the witnesses again, re-examine them, record the evidences again, and carry out a regular trial as well. So it is not necessary that if once they have decided to try an offence in a summary manner, they shall do it that way only. So this is what section 67B subsection 3 talks of. So what did we understand under section 67B? We have understood that the special courts which are designated or which have the jurisdiction over the area where the registered office of the LLP is situated are the special courts who shall try the offence. In a situation wherein more than one special courts are situated in the area, then the special court which is being specified by the High Court shall be the court which shall try the offence. In certain situations, the special court can also take cognizance of offences other than offences committed under the LLP Act with which the accused has been charged, and in the same trial, both the offences will be decided upon. And we've also understood in certain situations, the special courts may decide to try an offence in a summary way where the offence is not punishable with an imprisonment of time span more than 3 years. If a person is convicted in a summary trial, then the special courts he cannot be punished with an imprisonment of a time span exceeding 1 year. But during the course of summary trial or during the course of trial of the offence, if the special courts they are of the opinion that a punishment of less than 1 year would not suffice, or trying this offence in a summary manner would not do justice to the parties, then they may opt for regular trial as well and try the offence in a regular manner as well. Let's now start with section 67C, what it talks of. Section 67C basically talks of the powers of the High Court or the appeals and revision. So section 67C basically says that the High Courts, they may exercise the powers which have been conferred to them under the Code of Criminal Procedure, and they can exercise the powers over the special courts which have jurisdiction where the High Court is situated, as if the special courts are nothing but the court of sessions who are trying the offences within the local limits of the High Court. So basically, special courts here will be referred to as a normal court of sessions. Special courts here is being compared to a normal court of sessions which is trying a case which is subject to the jurisdiction of the High Court. So section 67C basically says that the High Courts, they are eligible to exercise their powers over the special courts just like they exercise their powers over any court of sessions which is trying an offence within the local limits of the jurisdiction of the High Court. So this is what section 67C talks of. Let's now start with section 68A, which talks about registration offices. Now, what does registration office here stand for? Registration office here is basically the office of the registrar. So section 68A basically specifies that the central government, they may establish as many registration offices as they would want to at different places for the purposes of registration of limited liability partnership and also for the purposes of discharging the functions which have been given by the central government to different officers or the registrars under this act. So section 68A basically emphasizes on the power of the central government to establish registration offices for the purposes of registration of LLPs and also for the purposes of discharging different functions and powers which have been assigned by the central government to them. So 68A basically states that the central government, they may establish as many registration offices as they want to under this act for the purposes of registration of limited liability partnership. And apart from this, for the purposes of functioning of these registration offices, the central government will also appoint several registrars, additional registrars, joint registrars, deputy registrars or assistant registrars who will carry out their different functions and who will take care of the registration process of the LLP, and not only the registration process, but they will also take care of discharging different powers and functions which have been assigned to them by the central government. So section 68A subsection 1 talks about establishment of registration offices, and 68A subsection 2 talks about the appointment of registrars, additional registrars, deputy registrars, joint registrars or assistant registrars who will carry out different functions for the purposes of registration of LLP and for the purposes of discharging several duties which have been assigned by the central government to the registrars. Section 68A subsection 3 basically states that all these registrars who've been appointed, they shall have the powers and duties as may be prescribed. So whether it's a registrar, additional registrar, deputy registrars, they shall exercise their functions for the purpose of registration of LLP and discharge the other duties conferred upon them by the central government. So all their powers and duties, they shall be subject to the terms and conditions which have been prescribed. And the central government will also direct the registrars to prepare a seal or prepare seals for the purposes of authentication of document with respect to the registration of a limited liability partnership. So all the documents for registration, they shall be authenticated, and for those purposes the central government may also require, may direct the registrar to prepare seals so that they use those seals for the purposes of authenticating the document with respect to the registration of LLP. So section 68A talks about the registration offices, and these are the government's registration offices. These are not registered office of LLP. So 68A basically specifies that these registration offices, they can be established by the central government. As many registration offices the central government wants to, they'll establish them for the purposes of registration of LLP and also for discharging certain other functions. And not only that, the central government will also appoint several registrars, additional registrars, deputy registrars, joint registrars or assistant registrars for the purposes of facilitating proper registration of LLP and for the purposes of carrying out different functions. The powers which these registrars will have will be subject to the terms and conditions which have been prescribed. And the central government may also direct the registrar to prepare seals for the purposes of authentication of documents of the documents of registration of LLP. So the seal will be with the registrar, and he will authenticate the document for the purposes of registration of LLP. So this is what section 68A talks about registration offices. Let's now start with section 69. Section 69 talks about payment of additional fee. So when will this payment of additional fee be required? So in a situation wherein the LLP fails to file any document or return which it had to file within the time span which has been specified, then in such a situation, the limited liability partnership may file such document or return after the expiry of such time span but upon payment of some additional fee. So we know that whenever a document is filed with the ROC, some fees has to be paid. But if the document is filed after the expiry of time limit within which the document had to be filed, in such a situation, along with the fees, there is an additional fees which has to be paid. So upon payment of additional fees, the document which is filed late will be accepted by the registrar, and this additional fees is in addition to any other liability or action which can be taken upon the person or the LLP. So just because you are paying additional fees doesn't mean that you are absolved from all the other liabilities under the LLP Act or any other action which can be taken against you under the LLP Act. So section 69 basically says that if there is a failure to file any return or document within the prescribed time limit, then this document can be filed after the expiry of prescribed time limit as well, but upon payment of an additional fee. And this additional fee is in addition to the normal fees which has to be paid for the purpose of filing of document. So filing fees plus additional fees has to be paid. And just because you are paying additional fee does not mean that you are absolved from any other action or liability under the LLP Act which can be taken against you. And apart from this, a different fee or a different additional fee will have to be paid for, will be prescribed for different classes of LLP, for different documents, for different returns which where there is a delay in filing. So there is no one particular additional fee which has been prescribed. You have to pay additional fees, but the amount of additional fee would vary depending upon the LLP, depending upon the document which is being filed, and depending upon the other filing requirements. So section 69 basically talks of payment of additional fee, wherein there is a delay in filing of any document or return. The document can be filed at a later date but with payment of additional fee in addition to filing fees, and different additional fee, different filing fee will be prescribed for different classes of LLP, different documents which are being filed. And just because additional fees is being paid, it does not mean that the person is absolved from all the liabilities or any other action which can be taken against him under this act. So actions can still be taken against the person and he is still liable under the LLP Act for the offence which he has committed. So we have now understood that the annual return of the LLP shall be filed within 60 days from the closure of the financial year. What if there is a failure to file the annual return within the time span specified? What is the penalty? So in a situation where the LLP fails to file the annual return within 60 days from the closure of the financial year, then the limited liability partnership and all its designated partners are punishable with a fine of rupees 100 per day of default. So till the time the default continues, 100 rupees per day will keep on accumulating until the return and until the annual return is filed. But is there a maximum limit to this? Yes, there is. So for LLP, the maximum limit is rupees 1 lakh. Maximum amount of penalty for LLP is rupees 1 lakh, and the maximum amount for the designated partners is rupees 50,000. So what is the penalty for delay in filing of annual return? It is rupees 100 per day of delay till the time the default continues. However, subject to the maximum limit of rupees 1 lakh for the LLP and rupees 50,000 for the designated partners. So this is the penalty which will be imposed in a situation where there is a delay in filing the annual return. Annual return has to be filed within 60 days. But if it is not filed within 60 days of the closure of the financial year, then penalty will be imposed. Penalty would be rupees 100 per day till the time the return is filed, subject to maximum of 1 lakh for the LLP and 50,000 for the designated partners. And this fine will be imposed on both LLP as well as the designated partners. Now, we've understood that every LLP is required to maintain proper books of accounts, have to file statement of accounts insolvency every year with the registrar of companies, and also has to get its books of accounts audited every year. Now, in a situation, any LLP makes a default in filing of statement of accounts of account and solvency with the registrar, then what is the penalty? In such a situation, wherein an LLP makes a default in filing of statement of account insolvency, the penalty imposed would be 100 rupees per day of default. Till the time the statement of accounts insolvency is filed, the penalty would be 100 rupees per day of default, subject to maximum of rupees 1 lakh for LLP and 50,000 for the designated partners. So this fine will be imposed not only on the LLP but also on the designated partners of the LLP. So 100 rupees per day for both LLP as well as the designated partners, subject to a maximum of 1 lakh for LLP and 50,000 for the designated partners. So in case the LLP fails to comply with these provisions, then the LLP may be fined with a minimum amount of 25,000, which may extend to 5 lakh rupees. So the fine which LLP has to pay is how much? Minimum 25,000, which may go up to 5 lakh rupees. And every designated partner will be fined as well. And the fine which they'll have to pay is what? The minimum fine for a designated partner would be rupees 10,000, and which may extend up to rupees 1 lakh. So understand that the amount which has to be paid by the LLP is higher than the amount which has to be paid by the designated partners. And it is not that only one designated partner will pay the amount has to be paid by every designated partner, because all of them are responsible for the legal compliances of LLP. Let us now move ahead and understand how these changes have to be registered, or what is the time limit which has been prescribed for the purpose of registration of the changes in the partners with the registrar. So basic thing which has to be understood is that whenever there is a change in the name of the partner or say the address of the partner, so you may say that okay, the address would change, but how name? In some situations there could be a female partner and after she gets married she would have changed her surname. See, it is not compulsory to change the surname, but yes, there would be some people who are willing to change their surnames. She would have changed her surname, so that is a change in name. Or even in normal situations, there would be some people who might have gone to some astrologer and the astrologer told them that add this alphabet to your name, change your name to this. So there is some change in the name for some reason. Okay, so in case there is a change in the name or the address of the partner will first have to inform the LLP about this. So if there is any change in the name or address of the partner, that partner has to inform the LLP about this particular change within 15 days of the change. So as soon as the change happens, within 15 days, the partner will have to inform the LLP that this is the change which has happened. So and so is the change which has happened in my name or in my address. So once LLP receives this information, LLP will have to give this information to the registrar. What did we understand? Any change in the LLP, inform the registrar. The registrar shall be kept informed about any changes which are happening. So any change, inform the registrar. So in this situation, say there is a change in the name and the address of partner. Partner has informed you about the change. In you meaning the partner has informed the LLP about the change. Now the LLP will have to inform about the change in the name or the address of the partner with the registrar. So LLP also has a time limit. The partner had a time limit of 15 days. Now LLP has a time limit of 30 days. As soon as LLP comes to know about the change, the LLP will have to inform the registrar within 30 days from the date of the change. Okay, so first the partner will have to inform the LLP that so and so change has happened in my name or address, and he has to inform about this to the LLP within 15 days of the change. And as soon as LLP comes to know about it, the LLP will have to inform the registrar within a time span of 30 days. And also whenever say there's a new partner joining in the LLP, there's an incoming partner, or say a person ceases to be a partner, that is there's an outgoing partner, then in that situation as well, the LLP will have to inform the registrar about a person joining as a partner or a person ceasing to be a partner. And for this also there is a time limit, and the time limit here again is of 30 days. So LLP, if it has to inform the registrar about a person joining in as a partner or moving out as a partner, shall inform the registrar within 30 days from that particular change which is happening. Could be that within 30 days from the date when a person joins as a partner, or within 30 days from the date when the person ceases to be a partner. And in case there's any change in the name and address of the partner, that also has to be informed by the LLP to the registrar within a time span of 30 days. And when informing the registrar, understand that whenever you are filing any information with the registrar, any information being given to the registrar has to be in a proper form. So there are different forms which have been prescribed for this. So the information, when informing the registrar about these changes, it has to be in a proper form as prescribed, along with prescribed fees, and this form shall be signed by the designated partner. The designated partner has to sign and say that yes, this is the change, because we have seen that it is the designated partner who is responsible for all the legal compliances. So in this situation as well, the designated partner will have to sign the form. In this situation as well, the designated partner, he'll have to sign the form which is being filed with the registrar for the purpose of intimation of the changes. And in case the LLP is filing a form wherein they are stating that there's an incoming partner, there's a new partner joining them, in that situation, the firm will have one additional requirement. And what is that additional requirement? That additional requirement is that the person who is joining as a partner, the new partner, shall give his written consent that he is willing to join as a partner in this LLP. So what did we see till now? If there is any change in the name or address of the partner will have to first inform LLP within 15 days. Then the LLP will have to inform about this change to the registrar within 30 days. And in case there is any incoming partner or a person ceasing to be a partner, the LLP will have to inform about this to the registrar within a time span of 30 days. And when informing the registrar, the LLP has to file a proper form, pay the prescribed amount of fees. The form shall be signed by the designated partner of the LLP, and in case the change relates to an incoming partner, then the incoming partner's consent also has to be obtained. His consent also has to be filed along with the form with the registrar. So we've understood what section 25 subsection 2 talks of. So if any contravention is done under section 25 subsection 2, what is the penalty? So if LLP makes the contravention, then the LLP and its designated partners, they shall be penalized with an amount of up to rupees 10,000. And if a partner has made a contravention, then the penalty on the partner would be of an amount up to rupees 10,000. So LLP as well as its designated partner, if the contravention is made by LLP as well as the designated partner shall be penalized with an amount of up to rupees 10,000. And if the contravention is done by a partner, then the partner shall be penalized with an amount of up to rupees 10,000. Let's now start with section 17, which talks about change in the name of LLP. Now, what does it say? And in which situations change in the name of LLP would be done? Now say a new LLP has been incorporated, a fresh registration has happened, a new registration has happened. And we have understood under section 15 and section 16 that the name of LLP should not be similar to name of any other LLP and should not contain any undesirable terms. But say this new LLP which has been incorporated is having a name which is very identical or resembles the name of any other LLP or company which is already in existence, or is very identical or similar to a trademark which is with a registered trademark, a trademark which has been registered by any proprietor or any company. Then in that situation, what can be done or what shall be done? So an LLP has been incorporated and the name of this LLP is Reliance LLP. Do you think this name is valid for the LLP? Can the LLP be incorporated with this name? Answer is definitely no. Why? Because we have Reliance Industries Limited, and if you name your LLP Reliance LLP, it will give an impression that this is somewhere related to Reliance, wherein there is no relation at all. So if an LLP has been incorporated and this LLP, new LLP or new body, new registration has been obtained, and this LLP has been incorporated with a name which is very identical or resembles the name of any other limited liability partnership or a body corporate, or it is too identical or resembles a trademark which has been registered by a proprietor or by any company, then in that situation what can be done? And this has happened by mistake. Usually whenever the registrars, they are allotting the names, they do verify everything, but this thing has happened by mistake. This has happened because of inadvertence. It has mistakenly happened. Then in such a situation, what can be done? So definitely the other LLP or the proprietor who has a registered trademark in a similar name, they can make an application and request the registrar to ask the LLP to change its name. So in such a situation, the LLP where it has been incorporated with a name which is very identical to name of any other LLP or body corporate or any registered trademark by a proprietor or a company, then such LLP will be directed to change its name on an application which is received either by the other LLP or the body corporate or the proprietor with the registered trademark, that the LLP shall change its name, and the LLP shall change its name within a time span of 3 months. So where an LLP has been incorporated with a name which is very identical or too nearly resembles the name of any other LLP or body corporate or any registered trademark by a proprietor or by a company, in such a situation, the other LLP, body corporate or the holder of the registered trademark, they can make an application with the central government, and the central government will direct the limited liability partnership to change its name. And for the purposes of changing the name, the time period assigned is 3 months within the date of issue of direction. So within 3 months of the date of issue of direction by the central government, the LLP is required to change its name. Now, a proprietor with a registered trademark, they can make an application to the central government within 3 years from the date of incorporation or the date of registration of the LLP. So, here under subsection 1, we have understood that the central government on an application received, they will instruct the LLP to change its name within a time span of 3 years. But in a situation where the name of LLP resembles a registered trademark, the holder of this registered trademark, the proprietor with the registered trademark, they can make an application with the central government within 3 years from the date of incorporation of the LLP. So, the application of a proprietor of registered trademark will be maintainable for a time span of 3 years from the date of incorporation of LLP. So, say the LLP has been incorporated, it was working for 2 years, and after that, this holder of registered trademark, he realizes that the name of LLP is resembling his trademark. So, he can make an application even after 2 years of incorporation of LLP, there is no problem. So, an application of a proprietor who holds a registered trademark is maintainable by the central government if it is made within 3 years from the date of incorporation or the date of registration formation of the limited liability partnership. Now, under subsection 1, 17 subsection 1, we have understood that the LLP will be instructed to change its name. Now, LLP, once they have received such an order, it is their responsibility to change their name. So, as soon as the LLP changes its name, within 15 days, the LLP shall inform about this to the registrar of companies and the central government that they have changed its name. So, within 15 days of change of the name, it is the responsibility of the LLP to inform the registrar of companies about the change in its name, and also the central government that the LLP has changed its name. Now, once they are informed, the registrar of companies will issue a fresh certificate of incorporation to the LLP with the new name, and once the LLP receives this fresh certificate of incorporation, within 30 days, the LLP will have to change its name in the LLP agreement as well. So, what is happening? LLP has changed its name. Within 15 days, inform the registrar of companies in the central government. Registrar of companies will issue a fresh certificate of incorporation. Now, within 30 days of receipt of fresh certificate of incorporation, the LLP is required to change its name in the LLP agreement. Now, what if the LLP fails to comply with the directions which have been issued by the central government to change its name? Say, central government issued a direction to an LLP to change its name, but the LLP did not change its name. Then what? Then, in such a situation, the central government will itself allot a new name to the LLP, will inform the registrar of companies that they have changed the name of this LLP. The registrar of companies will make a fresh certificate of incorporation and issue a fresh certificate of incorporation to the LLP, and the LLP will be informed about it. So, the central government will say, we gave you a chance, we gave you 3 months to change your name, you did not do it. So, now we are allotting a new name to you, and we will issue a fresh certificate of incorporation to you, and you will run with this new name. So, in a situation where the LLP fails to comply with the instructions, the directions of the central government will itself change the name and allot a new name to the LLP, issue a ROC, inform the registrar, and the registrar will issue a fresh certificate of incorporation to such LLP. Now, can the LLP change the name which has been allotted by the central government? Yes, they can definitely change the name which has been allotted by the central government to them, and at any time, according to the provisions of section 16, they can change their name which has been allotted by the central government. So this is with respect to section 17, which talks about change in the name of LLP. So we've now understood that what is the incorporation process of LLP, what are the details which have to be stated in the incorporation document, and that was given by section 11 of the LLP Act. And after filing all the incorporation document, it is the registrar who will issue a certificate of registration for LLP, and that will be a proof that LLP has come into existence. And this was given in section 12 of the LLP Act. Let us now understand the importance of registered office of LLP. Let us understand this with help of an example. Say you have registered with ICAI, and when you registered with ICAI, you have provided them with your residential address, right? So now all the communication which comes from ICAI to you comes to your residence. All the letters, any other thing, all the journals which ICAI sends, they come to your address, right? So similarly, whenever LLP is being incorporated, LLP also have to give the address where its office will be situated, so that all the communication which happens through the registered office. All the communication which the ROC has to send to the LLP comes to the registered office is addressed to that particular place. So registered office is basically a place wherein all the communications are received. So the communications happen with the LLP or the partners or the designated partners of the LLP. If the document has been posted, it can either be posted normally or it could be a courier which is being sent. All these things are received, all these communications are received at the registered office of the LLP. So basically, registered office is a place wherein all the communications happen with the LLP. Say now Rahul, Rajesh and Ravi, they want to shift their registered office from Mumbai to say Nagpur. So what is happening in this situation? The registered office was previously located in Mumbai and now it is being shifted to Nagpur. So whenever there is a change in the place where the registered office is situated, this change has to be communicated to the registrar. So whenever there is a change in the place where the registered office of an LLP is situated, this change has to be communicated to the registrar. So yes, we can change the place where the registered office is situated, but whenever this type of change is happening, it has to be communicated to the registrar of companies. There is some prescribed form which has to be filed with the registrar, intimating him that we have shifted the place where our registered office was earlier situated to a new place, and you'll have to give details about the new place wherein your registered office is situated. And this change will have effect only once this information has been communicated to the registrar. So we have now understood section 13. What if any default is made under section 13? What is the penalty? What is the punishment prescribed? So if any default is made under section 13, in such a situation, the LLP and every partner, not only designated partner, but every partner of the LLP, they shall be penalized with an amount of rupees 500 per day, subject to maximum of rupees 50,000, both for LLP and every partner of LLP. So if any default has been committed in compliance of the provisions of section 13, then LLP and every partner shall be punishable with a fine of rupees 500 per day, subject to a maximum of rupees 50,000 for both LLP and all its partners. So we've understood that every LLP shall have at least 2 designated partners, out of which one shall be a resident in India. Resident in India is a person who stayed in India for a time span of not less than 120 days during the financial year. So we know designated partners have to be appointed. Now the incorporation or document of the LLP, it shall state the name of the designated partners. So whenever incorporation document is filed, it shall state the name of who are appointed as the designated partners of an LLP. Now whoever is appointed, whosoever's name is stated in the incorporation document, he will be referred to as designated partner on incorporation. Now there may be an agreement between the partners where the incorporation document, it states that every partner shall from time to time become a designated partner. So in that situation, every partner will be a designated partner in LLP. The minimum limit is 2. There is no maximum limit. There is no maximum limit to designated partners, right? So in a situation, the incorporation document, it specifically states the name of designated partners, then they shall act as designated partners. If the incorporation document states that every partner shall from time to time become a designated partners, then every partner will be referred to as a designated partners, and a partner may cease to be a designated partner or may become a designated partner in accordance with the LLP agreement. So we know an LLP agreement has to be made, and in accordance with whatever terms and conditions have been specified in the LLP agreement, a person may be appointed as a designated partner or may cease to exist as a designated partner. And whenever an individual is being appointed as a designated partner, we know that only an individual can be appointed as designated partner. So whenever an individual is being appointed as a designated partner, his prior approval or his prior consent has to be obtained before he is appointed as a designated partner. So before appointing an individual, his prior consent or approval has to be obtained before appointing him as a designated partner. And the LLP, when they receive this prior consent of the individual who is being appointed as the designated partner, they shall make sure that they submit this consent to the registrar within 30 days from the date of appointment of the designated partner. So individual who is being appointed as designated partner, he has to give his approval, he has to give his prior consent, and this consent shall be submitted by the LLP to the registrar within 30 days from the date of appointment of an individual as a designated partner. Every individual who is being appointed as a designated partner, he shall satisfy all the conditions and all the requirements which have been prescribed with respect to the designated partners as well. And every person who is being appointed as a designated partner in the LLP, he has to obtain a designated partner identification number. Just like in case of a company, a director has to obtain director's identification number. Similarly, in case of LLP, a person who is being appointed as a designated partner, he has to obtain a unique identification number which is called as the designated partner's identification number. And for this purposes, all the provisions in the Companies Act which relate to application of DIN and allotment of DIN, basically section 153 to 159, they shall mutatis mutandis apply for the purposes of allotment of DPIN, that is designated partner's identification number, to the designated partner. So what did we understand about designated partners? We have understood that the incorporation document shall state the name of designated partners. Only an individual can be appointed as designated partner, and an individual who is being appointed as a designated partner, his consent has to be obtained. This consent and particulars of the persons who have been appointed as designated partners shall be submitted by the LLP to the registrar within 30 days of the appointment of a person as designated partner. An individual who is being appointed as designated partner shall be eligible and shall comply with all the requirements with regard to the designated partners, and he is also required to obtain a unique identification number called as the designated partner's identification number. And for these purposes, section 153 to section 159 of the Companies Act, which deal with allotment application of the director's identification number, shall mutatis mutandis apply, that is, shall as it is apply. So basically, just like a director has to obtain a DIN in case of company, similarly a designated partner has to obtain a DPIN in case of a limited liability partnership. And what does business mean as per LLP? Business basically means every trade, profession, service or occupation. But there's a specific exclusion, and this specific exclusion is with respect to something which has been specifically excluded by the central government. Now, in certain situations, the central government would not want certain businesses to run in the form of limited liability partnerships, say for example, banking businesses or insurance businesses. Then in that situation, the central government would specifically by notification exclude certain businesses. So business in short includes everything. It includes trade, profession, services, any occupation, but except for what has been specifically excluded by the central government by way of notification. So that is the meaning of business as per the LLP Act 2008.